Crossing electronic eyes is a backup to the sensor plates.
Your power source?
2 9-volts in the floor. Even a citywide power failure can't stop this system.
Once more, all very impressive, but at the same time, somehow futile.
This is state-of-the-art equipment, Professor.
So was the last system, I believe. In fact, I remember you using that exact description.
I think what the professor means here is that although it may appear to be very secure, it's rather pointless until we figure out who did it the first time.
Exactly.
And I think we can safely say at this stage that it was an inside job. That's the only way the system could have been penetrated.
Now, when you say an inside...
Someone you knew, Professor. Probably someone very close to you.
But I don't...
Look, you think about this. People you know, people you let visit you. Someone, in fact, who was very close to you. That could have been the person who did it.
Perhaps. But which one?
I understand.
Gregory, I presume?
Apparently, he was not successful in his search last night at the casino. The disc is still missing.
What now?
The backup plan.
Steal Gerald's microfilm before he has a chance to produce a new disc.
Which does not mean that we discontinue our search for the original disc.
We can't possibly do both.
Why not?
The time element. Gerald's going to begin work on the new disc immediately. With a microfilm in hand, it's going to be a matter of just duplicating the process.
Your suggestion?
We get our hands on that microfilm. Fast.
Professor, don't forget the system.
Oh. Who's there?
E-11.
Who?
It's Balentine. Let him in.
Ah, thank you, Professor. Don't close the door. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. You may leave.
What are you doing?
The microfilm. You know I can't begin my work without it. Robert, I'll give you the honors.
Well, that was obviously a diversion. I'm surprised you never picked it up, Constance. You're getting old.
Credit to your diversion, sir.
Just a moment. Do you two know each other?
Mr. Balentine's my boss. Now, I figured that you had realized my function was more than just security.
Well, I suspected.
Connie's one of my finest agents, Professor.
What do you know? What about my microfilm? If the guards didn't have it, well...
Aha. Observe. Voila.
In there?
All rolled up and ready to go. Your microfilm, Professor.
Been overhauled.
I don't see how that affects your relationship with Gerald.
Because Gerald's going to isolate himself now. He'll be working on that disc round the clock until he gets it finished.
All we need is that microfilm.
Fine. I'll work on it.
Gregory is going to want to know every move you make. We've lost their confidence, and that is not good.
Natalie, once we get the microfilm, it'll redeem us.
You realize what you face if you don't?
No. It's not what I face. It's what we face. We're in the same boat, baby. I go, you go.
Yes, I'm aware of that. That's why I don't want any more slip-ups.
Fine.
Failing the DVX once is one thing, but to do it a second time...
Would surely be fatal, and we both know it. Don't sit there and give me that accusatory leave.
You panicked in the casino, Grant. I know it. Gregory knows it, and now all of the DVX knows it.
Fine. So I'm lucky to still be alive. All right, are you happy?
Yes, I think you are. Very lucky.
That does a whole hell of a lot for my confidence, Natalie.
Your confidence is not what I'm questioning, Grant.
No, of course not. You're not questioning my confidence. You're questioning my ability. You go ahead and question. You're very good at that. You're good at questioning, scrutinizing, criticizing. That's your thing. But you're a little short when it comes to making suggestions. So I'll tell you what, you go ahead and make your threats and spout your little slogans, but damn it, don't condemn me until you come up with a solution. Right now, I am your only hope of getting out of this. Remember that.
Are you done?
Would you like me to continue?
I think they've trained you better than I thought. They taught you how to talk like a spoiled American, how to act like a spoiled American, how to behave like a spoiled American, and now you are one, complete with tantrums and temper.
This hasn't been an easy week.
For any of us.
Okay. Then let's start working together again. Once we start arguing among ourselves, they've won.
Of course. A united front is essential.
Yes, it is. Essential. And it's our only hope. I'll be in touch.
Dan, that gatehouse is bordering property on Heather or that child.
Monica, we are talking about a child's safety.
It's just another excuse, Alan. Hello, Grant?
Hello, Grant. Hello. I'll catch up with you two later.
No. Don't bother. Why don't you two guys have a little chat? Talk about vasectomies or something. Our discussion is over.
We'll see about that.
No, we won't.
Sorry about that,
No,
Grant.
I'm sorry.
I didn't mean for you to hear that. We don't normally bring our discussions into the hospital.
I understand. I'm sure it's very difficult with the two of you working here.
Women. I thought that the older I would get, the more I would understand them. But it seems that the older I get, the more confused I become about them. I just don't understand anything at all. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you something, Alan. Right now, women are the least of my problems.
Lucky you. I've got to make rounds. Would you excuse me?
Of course.
You're saying an inside job, but I don't see how that's possible.
At this point, it's the only theory we have to go on.
But I'm the only person who ever goes into the lab.
Well, what about grad students or friends?
Well, yes, on occasion I've had meetings here or entertained, but always here in the office, never in the lab. Well, as you both know, in fact, I have very few friends in Port Charles.
We're still going to need a list, Professor. Everybody who's ever stopped by.
I'm afraid it'll be very short. There are the two of you, some of my fellow professors, Adams, Rosenberg, Morris, some others, the dean once or twice, occasional messenger, and of course Grant and Celia, but they're above suspicion.
Professor, no one is above suspicion. Robert, get that list of names. Check everyone. Now, this Grant and Celia, who are they, married couple?
Yeah, married, the Putnams.
Uh-huh. You know them, Robert?
Yeah, they're friends, but most unlikely of people to be mentioned here.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. Check everyone.
Yeah, I understand. Look, I'll get Ramsey to help out here as well.
We're going to need that list, Professor.
Oh, yes, well, as I say, the dean, that's Dean Washburn, Professors Adams, Rosenberg, Morris. I wouldn't know the names of the messengers.
Again, Grant and Celia.
Well, look here, Grant and Celia are my closest friends. Is it really necessary to bother them with this?
Look, I promise you, Professor, this will be the most routine of questioning. They won't be inconvenienced in any way.
We'll see to it.
The important thing for us all to remember is that everybody is under suspicion. We don't know exactly who it is. Until then, everybody's under suspicion.
Now, we'll be in touch when we've come up with something. In the meantime...
I know. No one's allowed in the lab.
And keep the system activated and the door shut this time.
I will. There'll be no more slip-ups from now on. That's a promise.
Thank you, Professor.
I will call if there's any news.
Seems as though he'll cooperate.
Oh, I'm sure he will. This has all been very new to him. But I think he finally realizes the importance of the security.
Robert, I want to get right to work on that list.
Okay, I've got a thought on that. Why don't you go back to my place, do some background checkups on the computer?
Oh, I was just going to suggest that.
Holly will let you in. I'm going to hang around here and do some personnel checks to see where some certain people were that night, basically here and at the hospital.
Okay, where shall we meet?
I'd say back at my place. I shouldn't be too long.
All right, then. Good luck.
You too. Thanks, Al.
See you later.
Professor? Professor?
Oh, just a moment, I'm coming.
You gave me quite a start.
But I didn't hear you knocking. I was in the lab.
Good. You locked the door.
Did you forget something?
No. Actually, I had a thought. You have that microfilm?
Oh, of course.
Thank you. For this, I'll also need a pair of scissors.
There you are.
Thank you. So, eyesight isn't too good. Right. Half for you, half for me. That way, if anybody penetrates security here, they only walk off with half your equations.
Well, eventually I'm going to need the other half.
Yeah, well, when you do, I'll give it to you. Fair enough?
Fine. You're always worried about something, aren't you, Robert?
Yeah, it's part of the job.
Suppose someone on the outside gets your half at first, then what?
I'll have my half reduced to a microdot and hide it in a safe place that only I know about.
If you think it makes a difference.
It will. But look, I must ask you not to mention this to anyone.
Including Connie and Mr. Balentine?
Yeah. Well, for the time being. Now, I need to hide this. You wouldn't happen to have a bandage or a Band-Aid handy, would you?
Of course. I think I'm the paper cut champion here at the university.
Thank you.
Just this morning I cut my tongue sealing a manila envelope.
It's a tough place to put a Band-Aid.
It's just an example. Usually it's my fingers I cut up.
Right.
What an ingenious idea.
Now, when you need the other half, you call me.
You can be sure I will.
You know, some people jog in the morning for exercise. Apparently you pace.
I'm just a little restless, all right?
Oh, why? After a night like last night, you should be content, complacent, even euphoric.
I didn't know there was any set rules.
Didn't you want to be here? Didn't you enjoy spending the night with me?
Did I act like I didn't enjoy it?
No, you seem to be having a good time. Except for there for a moment or two, you might have been faking it.
No, guys don't fake it. Women fake it. What time is it?
10 of.
I gotta call the office.
So that's why you're so restless.
We overslept, you know. A few hours.
Scotty, why don't you just relax? Come on, take it easy. Baby's upstairs taking a nap. Miss Bowman isn't here. No luncheon dates. No added extra pressures. I think we should take advantage of it.
What do you have in mind?
Something along these lines.
Damn.
I beg your pardon?
No answer.
On the phone.
Where the hell could she be?
Who?
Who I'm trying to call, that's who.
I don't know who you're trying to call.
What am I telling you for?
Well, I don't know. Excuse me, I have work to do.
Amy, I'm sorry. I've had a long morning. I'm trying to get in touch with Heather and Jason, and I'm just worried, that's all. Forgive me, I'm sorry.
Can I try to help?
It's nice of you to offer, but no, thank you. There really isn't anything at all that you can do. I appreciate it. Monica?
Discussion is over, Ellen.
Monica, please, give me 1 second of your time. Let me talk.
No, your seconds. They rapidly turn into hours. Begging and pleading. Do you know how revolting it is to have a grown man like you acting this way?
We're talking about a child's welfare.
We are talking about an illegitimate child and your paranoia. Excuse me.
This is not over.
Yes, it is too over.
Monica, gatehouse, you won't even know that they're there.
Ever, Ellen, not in a million years. You got it?
You are a stubborn, callous woman.
And you are a child, an impossible child that is never going to grow up.
You forgot to sign the last one.
I didn't even know it needed signing.
But that's because you missed the notation on the previous page.
What previous page?
The one that stuck to the page in front of it that you missed while you were just flipping through the chart.
Let me ask you something, Vining. How is it possible that you could know that when you are on the phone, you are taking messages, you are filing charts, and you know that the page is stuck?
Hey, doctors miss things, nurses pick up on them. That's how things run around here.
What am I supposed to say now? What would I do without you, Miss Vining?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time I'd heard that. Excuse me, doctor. Main desk, Miss Vining.
Nurse back, nurse telephone.
Hello, Alan?
Call a witness. Nurse back.
Well, I'm not really too good. Actually, I'm up to my stethoscope and problems. How did you do to your hand?
Ah, this. Well, it's just a graze. Nothing to worry about. Actually, I'm here in business.
Oh.
Could I help you with something, Commissioner?
Well, thank you, Amy. I was wondering if Dr. Putnam was in.
I think he's in the therapy room on the 3rd floor, and I will call him for you right now.
That's quite all right. I know just where it is. Grab an elevator.
Do you have a minute, Robert?
Sure. What's on your mind?
I was just wondering if you had any more clues about that kidnap clipping.
Well, as a matter of fact, we're treating it as a closed case.
A closed case?
No one's been kidnapped.
I understand that. Is that the way the police operate now? You wait until the crime is committed before you do anything?
Well, there's no reason to believe one will be committed. I mean, there's no threat, no evidence, just a newspaper clipping, and that could be a joke.
Yeah, but it could be very serious as well.
Well, I'd admit there's a possibility, especially considering your family's financial status.
I wanted to talk to you about that, actually.
Your financial status? That's
No,
really
I wanted to talk to you about the very real danger of kidnapping when it comes to prominent families like us.
Well, there's not much to say,
Look, please, do me a favor. Give me one more minute. Just come up to my office. I really do need just a few more statistics. Well, it's not really statistics. It's really ammunition.
Ammunition?
Against Monica.
Dr. Van Dyke, please call your service. Nurse Penatelli reported...
Good morning, nurse. Would you be kind enough to direct me to Dr. Putnam's office?
Are you kidding? I am always looking for a lunch date, especially now that Grant is so darn busy.
Yeah, well, it's the same with Brian. It's a shame honeymoon can't last 1 or 2 years instead of 2 weeks.
I would settle for 1 week.
Oh, yes, I heard about that. You guys came back early, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, it's always time to make up for lost time, huh?
Mm-hmm. Something to look forward to.
Right.
So, now let's get back to planning your party.
Well, I thought you'd be the perfect person to talk to after that great wedding you had. It's really something.
Yes, so they say. I'm doing my best to block it all out.
I don't want anything quite as fancy. Just a little something for good friends, and I don't want to sacrifice elegance.
So you're still set on the Versailles room?
Absolutely.
What does Brian think?
Well, you know how men are about parties. He doesn't want to worry about who sits where and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, just so long as money is not a big factor.
No.
I mean, there are plenty of places just as good that don't cost quite as much.
Not the same name, though.
Oh, well, no. No, name is important, huh?
What do you say?
Always.
That's what I thought.
So the Versailles room it is. Okay, the first thing we've got to do is book a room.
After we set a date.
That will require the spouse's approval.
Yeah, well, mine's still at the hospital. What about yours?
The same. What do you say after lunch? We zip on over to the hospital, clear the date, and you are on your way.
I say cheers.
Cheers.
Hello. Professor. I'm sorry I didn't...
surprise.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't call first. They told me at the desk you had a break in your schedule.
Yes, one of those rare lulls between patients.
I wouldn't bother you at all, except I thought this might be important.
Oh, please, don't be silly. You're welcome any time. Take a seat.
Oh, thank you.
Something's obviously upsetting you.
Well, I just know how these misunderstandings can begin. At first, they'd ask you questions. Then they'd start following you. Eventually, you'd demand to know why, and that's when my name would pop up. I just don't want our friendship at stake over such a silly technicality. Now, that's the issue.
Professor, hold on just a second. You keep saying they. I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, Scorpio came by this morning. He wanted names.
Names?
People I'm close to, people who might have had access to the lab.
Well, I suppose that's all just part of his job.
Yes, but it was the way he was going about it. Now, their theory is that no one is above suspicion. And when I named you and Celia, I realized he was probably going to ask you questions.
Well, we weren't the only names.
No, of course not. But you're the ones closest to me. Now, probably some of the other ones should be questioned, but you and Celia, well, it seems preposterous.
No, it's not really preposterous. It's the way they do things. It's perfectly understandable.
Even if I hadn't come to you first?
Professor, this is obviously a very important investigation. I'm sure the commissioner has to check every possible angle.
Well, you're not offended then?
Not at all. Not so long as you're convinced of our innocence.
No, this isn't a question of innocence or guilt. It's just routine questioning. I trust you and Celia implicitly.
Then you did the right thing, Professor. Scorpio can check anything he wants. In fact, he should check. Since we're friends, I'm going to do anything I possibly can to be sure to assist Mr. Scorpio.
Well, you don't know how pleased I am to hear you say that. You and Celia are very close friends.
It's been our pleasure being friends with you, Professor. In fact, I was hoping that you might join us for a dinner out soon.
I'm afraid I can't. I'll be working day and night for the next few weeks.
Not a moment off?
No, afraid not. That's another reason for my visit. I won't be seeing a lot of you until this is all over.
That's very disappointing to hear. I understand completely, but...
Well, I was sure you would. Perhaps when it is all over, we can take a little trip to the Adirondacks. I understand it's very beautiful there this time of the year.
You're on.
And Celia, too.
Are you kidding? Celia would kill us both if we didn't include her.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Grant, for understanding. When I get a break, I'll call.
Yes, sir. Thanks for stopping by, Professor.
Bye-bye.
I saw him come into the hospital.
There have been questions asked. Scorpio's been given our names.
Mine, too?
No. Celia's and mine. A few other colleagues at the university.
Do you think Gerald suspects?
Not a chance. In fact, he was apologizing. He's worried sick because he's involved us. It all seemed very routine.
What about Scorpio?
I'd venture to say he trusts me almost as much as Gerald does. They all trust me. The whole damn town trusts me. And it's this face that ingratiates me to them.
Too bad it isn't yours.
To them, it's my only face.
Just keep it that way.
You worry too much, Natalie. You forget. I'm one of them now. A part of the fold. I guarantee it. They won't even bother to check on me.
Ready?
Let's go. Top of the list.